Hello, welcome to part two of my review of Elton John's Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I'm reviewing all of Elton John's studio albums, grading each track, and at the end of this particular video I will be revealing my average mark per track for this album and comparing it with all the other albums I reviewed so far. Last week I reviewed the first disc of this album and I rated that a total of 64 marks over 9 tracks, giving it an outstanding average track score of 7.1. Let's see now how the second record in this album measures up to the first one. So the record opens with Sweet Painted Lady. This is the story of a seaside sex worker who is preyed upon and exploited by sailors. It's about the hopeless lives of sex workers. There's a jazzy feel to the setting that Elton gives this lyric. It's an engaging tune with a good hook and lots of strong piano. We've even got some seaside sounds on there, seagulls and waves, giving it more atmosphere. The lyric by Bernie Taupin is strong. What about this line? Opportunity awaits me like a rat in a drain. That's pretty memorable. Some might argue this sort of almost glorification of sex workers is in bad taste, and the theme of this song hasn't aged particularly well. Nevertheless, it's a good recording and it's a quite memorable tune. So as an opener, we're going to give this one 6 marks out of 10. Just a reminder, 10 marks is going to be kind of the level of your song, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road itself. Down at the bottom there, 1 and 0, we're going to see tracks like I'm Your Robot, Solar Prestige and Passengers. So that's the kind of scale we're using for these. And I'm trying to be clear between them, so not giving too many marks to too many at the top. Otherwise, I won't be able to rank them in order. Track 2 is the story of Danny Bailey. It's called The Ballad of Danny Bailey, 1909 to 1934. This is a story by Bernie out of the American West. It's about a fictional Kentucky bootlegger in the days of Prohibition, loosely based on somebody called Pretty Boy Floyd. The story song begins with an announcement of the death of Danny Bailey and then explains what exactly happened to him. Elton has given this an orchestral backing. He's delivered a clear, confident vocal, a pleasant fade out, to words such as, I guess, the cops won again. I enjoy this one. It's a bit of drama and it's a bit of a cinematic feel. We've already had things like I've seen that movie too on disc 1 and it complements that well. So we're going to give this one a solid 7 out of 10. That's putting it in the upper range of Elton's best recordings for me. Well, there's some really good recordings on this double album, but track 3, Dirty Little Girl, is not one of them. It's an album filler which is rather difficult to listen to. It's a rock and roll rave up, and it takes up the theme of more social misfits from Bernie Taupin. It's about a loathsome man who despises a homeless woman who hangs around his house. He wants her to go. Elton gives this a rough-throated rendition, according to Elizabeth Rosenthal in her book, His Song. It's a rather harsh melody and it's a rather difficult listen. And some people have accused it of misogyny. Well, we'll let you make your own mind up about that. Of course, it is a character song, so these views are part of a particular character in this story. Nevertheless, not a great track, this one, and I think we're going to give that 4 out of 10. Side 4 closes with All the Girls Love Alice, although Elton actually sings All the Young Girls Love Alice. This is the story of a 16-year-old private school student who appears to become a lesbian sex worker. This is something of a theme for Bernie on this particular album. Some people have called this song homophobic. Is it suggesting that a lesbian lifestyle is wrong? It includes some unpleasant language, and you'll have to, again, use your own judgment on this as to whether you think that's appropriate now. Having said that, it's a great rock song with really good energy. It's got a slowed down chorus, and that doesn't always work with Elton songs, but I think it does on this one. There's a real intensity to the driving instrumental backing, and this one works really well in live performance. I would compare it a little bit to One Horse Town, which comes up later on the Blue Moves album. That same sort of feel, that same sort of slowed down chorus. Kiki Dee appears on the backing vocals for the first time with Elton, and I would say it's a pretty good deep cut, this one, giving it 7 out of 10. So that side 3 of the album, gets 6, 7, 4 and 7, a total of 24 marks. Let's have a look and see what's on side 4. Side 4 opens with Your Sister Can't Twist, brackets, but she can rock and roll. This is another nostalgic song, Elton looking back to the 1950s, and it's a bit of a companion piece to Crocodile Rock, I would suggest. It maybe would have worked as a surfing song as well. The song runs at a really furious pace and perhaps a little bit too quick. Apparently when he recorded this, people couldn't believe that it hadn't been speeded up. Even though we can compare it with Crocodile, and it's got that Farfisa organ sound on it as well, it's not in the same class. And we could dismiss this possibly as a little bit of flim-flam. Anyway, it's going to get 6 out of 10 from me. Track 6 is Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, the first single from the album, reaching number 7 in the UK, number 12 in the US. This, of course, is a concert staple. It's about English people drinking and getting drunk and causing problems. There's a fine atmospheric lyric. Your sister looks cute in her braces and boots. How many times have we sung that along with Elton? It attacks this aimless idea of drinking to oblivion. And Elton apparently recorded this one standing up in the studio to get that extra bit of energy into it. It's a classic, simple rock number. It's pacey, unflagging, brilliant guitar riff in there as well. And very similar in a way to The Bitch Is Back, which is another great Elton recording. So among his finest and most memorable work, we can give this one 9 marks out of 10. Track 7 is Roy Rogers. Now this is a real deep cut, this one, but one of my favourite Elton John songs. Again, he's wallowing in nostalgia. This time it's about some guy in America who hasn't got much money. He lives in a trailer, but what he treasures is his television because it enables him to watch these wonderful series such as Roy Rogers with his horse Trigger. Some great lyrics in this. I particularly enjoy the line, I'd rather have ham in my sandwich than cheese. Just great detail there. So this is Bernie Taupin and Elton John's tribute to their idols of their childhood. Sounds a bit like an Everly Brothers vocal with the two voices going together. There's some really enjoyable wailing guitar from David Johnston. And I think this whole thing works really well. Pity it wasn't a single in a way. We can give this one 8 out of 10. Track 8 is Social Disease, and it's another visit to one of Bernie Taupin's social misfits. There's a quiet fade in before it establishes a country and western feel. The song is about drinking addiction, somebody who pays their rent in sex. The lyric refers to a genuine example of a social disease. It's about a social outcast, somebody on the margins. Elton John uses his American voice for this one, and it really rocks along with his honky-tonk piano sound. The band sounds good, and they all seem to be having a jolly good time as they record this one. There's a neat sax solo, there's a bit of hillbilly banjo in there, a general party atmosphere. We're not going to remember this track very much, but it's a pleasant visit on the album. Perhaps something you might hear being played in an American saloon, if that actually ever existed. So this musical party track gets around 5 out of 10. So track 9, in closing the album, is The Extraordinary Harmony. Now this starts on a very unusual piano chord. Anybody out there who knows exactly what that chord is, please let me know, because I would love to find that. I've tried to play it many times. This is a strange love song, and it's about somebody who appears to be enamoured with somebody called Harmony, unless this is a metaphor for Elton being in love with harmony and with music. That's possible as well, of course. Am I the only man you ever had? Says the lyric. So this is somebody yearning for somebody called Harmony, apparently. And this song is only 2 minutes and 46 seconds. And that's my only regret, because it's not really long enough. It's powerful, it's outstanding, and it's moving. It's a beautiful track, which I would compare with Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, especially in terms of the vocal range in it and the sound of the vocal and the backing vocals. It's a really excellent end to the album, and I would love to have seen this as a single rather than Benny and the Jets, which I think is a weaker track. So I'm going to give this one 9 out of 10. Remember, I don't give many 9s and 10s, so that's quite an accolade, I feel, for this song. Let's summarise side 4 then. We've got a 6, 9, 8, 5 and 9. That gives us a total mark of 37. That's an extremely high mark for a side of Elton John vinyl. Let's have a look now at my top songs so far in my Elton John project. Right at the top there we have 2 scoring 10 out of 10, Skyline Pigeon piano version and Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. A solid batch of 9s there. Look, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road supplies 3 of those, Candle in the Wind, Saturday Night and Harmony. It shows what a quality album this is. Down at the bottom of the league, there's nothing from Goodbye Yellow Brick Road at all in there. We've still got Tower of Babel, I Am Your Robot and Heart in the Right Place scoring just 1 mark out of 10. So, time for the big reveal. Well, the average mark per track for Goodbye Yellow Brick Road is 6.94. That puts it right at the top of my league so far. Ahead now of Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player, also from 1973. Madman next, Blue Moves, and then The Fox, with Jump Up still down the bottom there at 4.5 marks per track. Remembering that I'm only including the marks for the original album tracks, not for bonus tracks. So thanks for listening to my review. Please subscribe below if you'd like to find out about more of these. My next project is going to be looking at The Captain and the Kids. So I'm moving right into the future now to see how Elton John's more recent albums compare with those back in the 1970s. So look out for my next video, and don't forget, we're still standing. Goodbye.